So how this works is that you plug this into the servo channel 1 of the receiver, and you plug Hey guys, welcome to Revolution XRC. Today we're going to look at adding a BEC to this rig. I have a 42 kg servo here that outputs about 500 ounces at 6 volts and 555 ounces at 7.4 volts. Now I am using a FlySky GT5 receiver here, which is rated up to 8.4 volts. But the issue is some of the other items that I connect to it might not be rated for 8.4 volts. I want to keep most of the electronics hooked up to this at 6 volts while I set the servo to use 7.4 volts from the BEC. For the BEC, I'm going to be using a Castle Creations 10 amp BEC, and I'll put a link to this in the description below. And you can see here, this is what it looks like. So to hook this up, you basically have to solder the power wires to the power wires of the ESC. And here I'm using a Hobbywing 1080 ESC. So what I did was I pulled back the sleeve here and soldered the power leads and then put the sleeve back on. Let me just pull this apart here so you can take a quick look. So you can see here the BEC wires are soldered on right here for the 1080 XT60 connector. And then what I do is I just solder it and put the sleeve back on. Now with the BEC, you're going to want to split the power from going to the servo and the power that goes to the receiver. So the receiver power should be powered by the ESC. And the servo, because it's going to use 7.4 volts, should come from the BEC. Now to split that, you're going to have to find a way to get power to both the receiver and the servo while letting the control lead go from the receiver to the servo. And to do that, you'll need an adapter like this. Basically, this is the Gearhead BEC RX bypass adapter. So how this works is that you plug this into the servo channel 1 of the receiver, and you plug in the BEC here as well as the servo lead. And what this does is it prevents the power leads from going to the receiver from the BEC, but at the same time it allows the control lead to go from the receiver to the servo. It's going to be a tight fit in here. Alright, with the bypass adapter inside the receiver box, we can go ahead and hook up the servo as well as the BEC. So connect one end to, see, make sure it's black negative. So we'll want that negative wire to go there. Pay attention to the positive and negative of the wiring. Here is the bypass adapter. You can see the black wires on top. So I'm just going to make sure I use the negative one. Aligned the same. And here is the BEC plug, and that just goes in later like that. And it makes wiring very easy. And with both of the leads in this bypass adapter, that's all there is to it as far as installing the BEC goes. You still do have to hook up the BEC to Castle Creation software to set the voltage. I'm going to clean up some of this wiring, and when we're right back, I will show you the software to set the BEC voltage. Here's a look at the wiring all cleaned up. Use a 3M fabric tape here to kind of keep this battery cable and the power leads for the BEC together, and I'll use some zip ties here to keep these wires in place as well. And in just a minute I'll show you the software. Alright, to connect your Castle BEC to the software to change the settings, you're first going to need a Castle link. And I got this along with a Mamba X ESC that I bought. But be sure that you have one of these in order to change your BEC settings. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to unplug your BEC wire. And you're going to want to plug it into the Castle link. And make sure the negative is correctly plugged in. So the brown or the black is usually the negative, and you're going to want to plug this into your computer and start up the software. And in just a second I'll show you the software. Alright, here is the Castle Link software, and you're going to want to see that it's connected and the device is linked. If you click on the basic tab, you should be able to see the output voltage. Right now it's at 5.1 volts, and you're going to want to change that to 7.4 volts. In my case it's 7.4 volts, but you'll be wanting to use whatever voltage that you wish. And click update. And that is it.